Ringo, and I'm going to say that again because it always takes a minute or two for that to actually show up on the broadcast. But as usual, if you are brand new to me, well, if you have never been here before, welcome. And if you have been here before, welcome back. We are kicking off our Super Soap series yet again. It's been a while since we've done it. On this broadcast, though, it's pretty special because Birdie, I don't know if all of you have met her yet, but you will very soon. We are planning a pop-up shop. But in order to have a pop-up shop, there is a lot that we need to do. Several of you have placed orders for custom loaves. We are going to be making those custom loaves today. I am hoping and praying that the cameras don't freeze like they have been. We did do a little bit with our network recently, so hopefully we will have a pretty straight through broadcast. But one of the custom orders that we got was for the triple butter blend. I hope you all can hear me. It looks like this is coming through. Hello, Teal. Very good to see you. And so hopefully this sound is coming through. Teal, can you hear me okay? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to some of my friends over there in the Middle East. I'm very happy to see you here. And again, I do hope the sound is okay. I know that depending on the camera that I pick, it may not come across. Yes, come out to the pop-up shop. So I mentioned the pop-up, and let me pull the details up because you know I'm not going to know what it is. Hold on. It is on November the 28th. It will be at Bistro 870 Event Space. That is at 1551 North Franklin Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19122. Hopefully that made it to the description box as well. Yes, coming in loud and clear. Hello there. Good. Okay, so I'm seeing your comments come up, so I know that we have sound. So this pop-up shop is not your typical pop-up shop. You all know that we have this brand new studio space. By Zakia has been kind of quiet for about 18 months because we did a little bit of a pivot during the pandemic in terms of virtual event production. But that was so that we could come back with the soap making and the skincare and the body care. And you've noticed I've said by Zakia a few times. We could never expand when we were just live streaming from the dining room. And that was because we had nowhere to put all of the product. But now we have sugar scrubs. We have herbal body oils. We have liquid soap. We have body wash. We have bar soap. We can take care of you from hair all the way to the toe with all skin food. Things that are made with things that come from nature. You don't have to scratch your head about what's on the ingredient list. And so really excited about it. Carla is giving me a thumbs up. Bird has put in the pop-up shop information right there. Probably going to be on the wrong side. So hopefully you all, it's right after Black Friday. You spend some time on Saturday, and then Sunday, it's more than just coming out to the shop. It is kid friendly. We are going to be hosting a little mini bath bomb station, a lip balm station for the kiddos. You as a parent can consider booking a party like that for your kids. Good morning, Tina. What is the link to the shop? So if you would like to order, you can go to naturalsoapbyzakia.com. I don't have that listed already, but that's where you can go. Look at Bird. Look at her pretty picture. I think that was when she was in Jamaica, man. That's where she was for that picture. I'm mad that I actually know that, but it's true. That's where she was. So my website is naturalsoapbyzakia.com. If you are local to Philadelphia, I highly encourage you to go on the site and pre-order anything that it is that you would like for the Paige came in, she saw the camera, she shut the door. So if you would like to order ahead of time, you can go to naturalsoapbyzakia.com. I'm just making you bigger. It's not Here, let's see, will it do that way? Yeah, there we go. Get her over there. That's where you can go to pre-order. You can also get a gift card. By getting a gift card, when you come to the pop-up shop, if you're local, I mean, if you're not local, you can still get a gift card. Give the gift of gift cards so people can choose what it is that they want. But if you come with a gift card to the pop-up shop, you get an additional 10% off your order because you said, I know I'm going to spend $25, $50, $100, Alex. We'll give you an additional percentage off because you have pre-purchased your gift card. So what are we doing today, Alex? Well, number one, we do have an order for a custom loaf of crushed oats and honey. And remember I mentioned skin food a little bit earlier. We actually use real ingredients in all of our skincare products. So we have our honey. You can't have crushed oats and honey without the honey. And we also have our oats. So we're going to be making a 30-pound batch because this individual ordered 2 loaves. And then, of course, typically when you guys see me make it, you say, I want that. I want some of that, Bradley. We'll also have 2 loaves that are available on the site. So I actually need to buy myself a little bit of time because my oils and my butters are still too hot. So I measured everything out into these 2 pots that you see here. However, one of them is at 131 degrees Fahrenheit. The other one is at 124 degrees Fahrenheit. For my live soap school students, we are adding honey into this batch, which is also going to make the temperature go up, which could also create a volcano in the soap. So we want our soap that at a much cooler temperature, and that is just too high. Even if I wasn't adding any sugar products or honey products into it, I would never soap at 130 degrees Fahrenheit because it's just too high. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend a little bit of time preparing by measuring out the oats that we need. And then yesterday, I formulated a sugar scrub. Now we already have a rose clay sugar scrub, but this one here is a French green clay scrub. So you'll get a chance to see the consistency of that as we bottle it up. And then hopefully the timing of doing that, preparing the ingredients, and then also putting the sugar scrub into the containers will be in a really good place to go ahead and make the 30-pound batch of the oatmeal and honey. So I'm going to show you over here. This is what we have. So we already did another batch of the 30 pounds of triple butter. Now, if you know, typically our soap takes 4, maybe 5 weeks to cure. And I'm hoping that the sound still comes okay. Where are we at? Yeah, okay. So we still have the 30-pound batches that we've poured, and what we have waiting on the side is the 30-pound batch that we're going to make live today for the crushed oats and honey. So hopefully you guys are excited about that. I'm excited about that. And so what we're going to do is measure out our oats first. Now, the amount of oats that you use is really, really a personal preference. When I first started doing, I would use a mortar and pestle to crush my oats, and I would be there all day. Wait a minute, Bradley. There's no need to do that. So I'm just gonna get enough in here. Now, I'm not using all of these oats for the crushed oats and honey, but this is going to allow me to get a nice amount of it crushed on up. So then what we do is we put this on here. So if you get a Cuisinart stick blender, if you get the full set, sometimes people will only get the blender or the stand mixer by itself. If you get the full set of it, it does come with this, which is really beneficial. And I had it sitting off to the side forever, never used it, and I was giving my arm all kinds of work. So you put your lid or your stand mixer right there on the top, and then you crush your oats. Do a little dance, do a little dance. And that's it. Just like that, matter of seconds, you have your crushed oats for your recipe. Now, I typically only put the oats in one portion of the recipe, but you'll see that as we go to make it. Now, what I'll do at this point is I will just bring Well, we'll go ahead and measure out our honey too. I wasn't prepared. Just such it wasn't prepared for that because I didn't have a bowl to put it in. Alrighty. And we have Tina on here. Sounds good. Tina says, I low-key like watching volcanoes. That is until they get out of control. I made a liquid soap and I had it in my, thank goodness it was in my smaller crock pot. You can't, it's hidden by these containers here. I have been making my liquid soap in these roasters. But luckily I was trying a new recipe and I didn't really know how it was going to work. That thing volcano. It was cool for the first 2 seconds, kind of like what you're saying there. But I was like, oh shoot, what have we done? What have we done? So this measuring spoon, don't ask me where I got it. I have no idea. It may have been something that I found at my mom's house. But it has all 4 of the measuring sides on it. So there's 1 tablespoon, a half, can't read it, a half a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon, and a 1/4 teaspoon on here. So we're going to be adding about, what do we have? We have 26 pounds. So we'll do, let's see. There's 1, and I go a little bit over. That's 3. Such an exact science. That's 5. I'm double counting. That is 7. You're saying, well, why are you going by 2? Because I am way overfilling it. So that's 9. 11, 7, 11. That's all I'm rolling. 13. I'm trying to get up to 24. 13, 15, 17, 19. Give or take, right? This isn't an exact. 21. 23. And I said 20, we'll go to 25. 25. So this is going to be the honey add to the crushed oats and honey recipe there. So we have our oats, we have our honey ready to go. We don't add any scent to our crushed oats and honey. A lot of people like the crushed oats and honey because it's great for exfoliating the skin gently. It's good for kids. Kids can actually use it as well. But it has like a nice gentle exfoliation that it will do. You so crazy, right? So this is kind of sort of about 24 tablespoons of honey that we're going to be adding to the recipe. So we have that. I am going to now transition over just a bit because I need a little more time. All I want is a little more time. If you guys don't know that reference, that comes from the Alexander Hamilton track, which we got a chance to see live this past week. That's probably what I will be talking about as we proceed in this broadcast. All right, so I'm going to take the top off. I'm also going to change you all so that you are able to see what I got on my table here. Good morning, Sarah. How are you? So this is our French green clay sugar scrub. It is made with a blend of infused olive oil. That olive oil is infused with calendula and chamomile. And then we also have the sugar in there. But as you can notice, it's look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that consistency. It smells amazing. There's a blend of apple and French vanilla, and Lord have mercy. It smells so good. I'm echoing. Oh, thank you. Hold on. I know why. Thank you, guys. You guys should have told me. Did that echo come when I switched cameras? Should be gone now. Zach, I know you're trying to catch me. We can't sit for that. Much better. Sorry guys, sorry for the echo. I switched cameras and then it turned on the new microphone. All right, so what we have here is our sugar scrub. So hopefully you all can see the consistency of that. Yeah, so I'll be mindful when I switch the cameras to pay attention to if it turns on the other microphone. So here is what the French green sugar scrub looks like. It is on the website. It is available for order today. This one has no cure period. It is available instantly. Now, I typically, when I make the sugar scrub, I do have to let it sit overnight because all of those and butters need to, and for me, because of the proportions of the amount of oils, butters, and even a little bit of beeswax that goes in here, it kind of creates like an oil film, and that needs to go into the sugar. That's 27. Listen. Birdie was here when I was trying to figure out the proportions because I had a certain amount of sugar and I knew that I wanted a certain percentage of it to be, a certain percentage of the whole recipe to be a certain amount of the sugar. But my brain does not work mathematically that way to come up with the percentage. I don't know how. I have no idea. You said it is still echoing. We have echo cancellation on. Let me try and going there. How is that sound? I'm hoping that's better. It's not. That looks good. It is not echoing, or it is. I'm a little bit confused. I can't tell. I can't tell what you're telling me, Caroline. It's either broken or not broken. I'm going to move our pot off to the side so we have a little bit more of a workspace. It's not echoing. Thank you, guys. So I'm just going to move this stuff so it's out of the way and you guys can see how I go about filling. Now, I do have a lotion filler. The lotion filler is not something that I would recommend for sugar scrubs because the graininess of the sugar scrub would get caught in there. So I have my method of filling the container. May not be the best. Maybe after some point I will figure out a better method of doing it, but we shall see. All right, so we're going to open up all of our containers here just so they're ready to go. And then we're going to give them a quick squirt down with rubbing alcohol. I mean, these came directly from the manufacturer, but you just never know. You never know. This would have been a job for Paige, but you guys heard her come in and go back the other way. She went the other way. But she did help me with this part here. And this part was getting them under the counter so that I would be able to quickly grab them and have them ready for filling. All right, so I'm going to give it one more whisk. This is what we use. I have this bigger bowl with this smaller pitcher. And what I've tried to do is create a technique where I put this smaller one just to try and eliminate some of the waste, guys. And then I pour, don't you do it. Get up there. We don't want honey in the sugar scrub. Go. Go. There you go. And then I just pour into that. Now, I do get drippity drips, but not as much. And because this is on the handle, which you can't see because I had it blocked, it's on the handle there. So then I can take it. Now, I will grab a scale just to make sure that my weights are appropriate. It stopped. Let's see. So we have, let's take a look at our who's watching situation here. Oh, wow. We have 94 of you live. I'm not sure if you're watching on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, but welcome to the broadcast. I'm Zakia Ringgold, and what we are doing is we're trying to buy us some time by filling up these sugar scrub containers so that our oils can come down so that we can make the crushed oats and honey. And what I just showed you is the mixture already created that we poured into another container that makes it easier to dispense it across the various containers because it's in a really large bowl. I can't use my lotion filler for this because it won't go through. The sugar grains get stuck in there when you go to pull it through. So I'm going to measure out this first one to try and just eyeball it. Normally it goes right up to that first line where the container is. That'll give me the 13 ounces here. And then we just simply pour it just like that. Yep, went over. Some of you get more than 13 ounces. We never give you less, but some of you get more. And then just like that, we have the sugar scrub. Now I'm going to do one more on here. It's like 0.5, 13. Yeah, okay. So I don't need to keep it on the scale because I can see that right at that very first lip where the container goes on, that is where the 13 ounce mark would be for these jars. So I'm going to move the scale out of the way. I'm going to pour another batch of the sugar scrub in here. You know how you try and get some of those drips? Go that way. Rubber in. Don't move that. Thank you, Paigey. Hi, Paige. What do you need? Don't stand there. I am. I am. Okay. I'll be done in about 20 minutes. Oh! What didn't I do, guys? You let me. Alcohol. And that's just to help with any potential bacteria issues that may be going on there. I do like to let that sit on for a few seconds. I kind of peeked over. I said, oh, shoot. So what we do is we fill all of these containers, and I think you all can see them. We fill all of the containers, and then from there we will let them sit, and then they'll be ready to go. It does not take a whole lot. Any questions from anybody who has just joined or somebody who's been here? Because I can go ahead and start talking about Hamilton. I don't know how many of you know, but the Alexander Hamilton soundtrack was very, very pivotal to me starting my very first business, which was naturalsoapbyzakia.com. A co-worker of mine had told me about Alexander Hamilton maybe in late October of 2015. And then she had gifted me the soundtrack on Amazon. And one night, you know how you just have one of those kind of moments of solitude? Well, I was in one of those moments of solitude, and she said, you should go ahead and listen to that soundtrack. So I turned it on. I was sitting in my then dining room before it turned into a live stream studio and a soap making studio. But when I say I was almost paralyzed, I don't have to freeze it. It's going to continue to thicken, and I'll show you what a finished one looks like with the rose clay. But great question. And so I listened to the soundtrack, and when I tell you, I was just sitting in the dining room from the very, very first drop of the doom, 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 doom. How does a bastard, orphan, son of a whore, and the Scotsman dropped in the middle? Like that came on all the way to the very last song. I was sitting there in the dining room. I mean, it was an emotional roller coaster. There are so many lessons that are applicable to life in that soundtrack. And it was a particular part on there that says, you have no control of who lives, who dies, and who tells your story. And interestingly, I was at work, and I always felt like whatever I was doing, it was kind of being retold and told a different way. What it was that I was or was not creating. And then just the thought of, we live every single day. I would drive back and forth to work, and I would always feel like, wait a minute. What if somebody were to see what it is that I do every day? And I know a lot of moms feel like this. When you have a million and one things that you're working on or that you're responsible for, it's like, if people only knew like what it was like a day in the life of. And it kind of hit me. That's where live streaming could come in and take a part of it. And so that's when I really made the decision to just live stream whatever the journey was, good, bad, or indifferent. And it really turned out to be a great decision on my part. This was before you could go live like on Facebook or YouTube, before TikTok, all of that. It was Periscope, which was the platform that I started Natural Soap by Zakia on. And when I launched the actual store, I did it in January of 2016. And it was on the observance of Martin Luther King's birthday. And you know what I had playing in the background? Alexander Hamilton. People actually people actually got very interested in it, or they had no choice if they were watching me, because we would constantly play that particular soundtrack. Now, luckily at that time they weren't as stringent with copyright. Now today, if you go back and watch that video, it says the sound has been removed from this particular video. Yes, I always say, if people only knew the battles fought in my head, Tina. Well, I don't stream all those battles, but they're there. Hold on one second. Let me get this in, because I'm trying to multitask and do two things, and hopefully this oil will have come down in temperature. But if people just knew what it was like to get up 5 o'clock in the morning and not see your bed again until like 11 o'clock. And that was working for someone else. That was working not for myself, right? That was the effort that I would put in at work. And then they always say things like, oh, you're such a high performer. We're so lucky to have you. And I had several managers at the time constantly say the same things. I wish I could clone you. And I'm like, wait a minute. What do you mean I wish I could clone you? Everybody isn't working this hard. Everybody isn't doing these things. And then you second guess yourself a whole lot. And so as I would just start to think about a lot of that I was doing, I said, you know what? What if I gave to myself that extra 50% that I was giving to my full-time employer. What could possibly happen? And then you have no control of who lives, who dies, who tells your story. I was battling depression at the time, and I hate to say I was. Depression isn't something that you just get over. It's the thing that you learn to manage, is what I'm learning. And because I was doing that, I had a lot of fears in my head. And it was like, well, what if I'm not here? Like the whole anxiety, like, what if you get sick, die of cancer or whatever? What stories will be told to your daughters about you and about what you did or how you did it? And so I said, why not be the author and the architect of that story and tell it live via live streaming? And so that's what I did. That was the premise of Walk With Me's. That was the premise of what are you grateful for? Just trying to change the mindset. There was someone named Carol, and she used to do 365 days of gratitude. And every day she would just post a regular Facebook post on what it was she was grateful for. And that's where the idea for it came from. I had no idea there was this whole gratitude movement that was happening, but I knew that I always got inspired by what she would write. And it would be such small things, such little things on what had inspired her. And so that's what we started doing on the broadcast, because I didn't really have anything to stream about. I had been studying soap making for about a year prior to streaming it. And it kind of just switched, or a light switch went off at the time. And then live streaming for me, it really showed me that there was absolutely, positively no middleman between you and whoever it was you were trying to reach. I think there was a line in the soundtrack where Eliza, she says, do you know how lucky we're, look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now. So you imagine like a Madam C.J. Walker and how successful she was. And she didn't have any of the tools that we have today in terms of social media, like a computer, internet, cell phone, the tools to print at home. If you want to publish a book, you can do that. If you want to have a podcast, you can do that. If you want to have your own network, you can do all of those things. And even without all of those things, how successful those before us were. So to really understand how lucky we are to be alive right now and to feel like you're not taking full advantage of that, that sat with me. That sat with me quite a bit. So this one is going to be the one that we keep. Now you'll see it's very movable right now, but let me show you in about 24 hours. This is our rose clay one. It goes to, can you see that? It goes to this very solid, not solid. I mean, it's still pliable. It'll move, but it's much, much easier. So I'll let these sit. They'll sit for about 24 hours. I will put the lids on them so no debris gets into them. And hopefully we have brought ourselves enough time for the crushed oats and honey soap. So I do have to get those, what are those things called, so that you don't have the oil leaks on there. I do have to get those for these containers because I don't want somebody to get this shipped to them and then any oil kind of comes out the side. In the interim, until I get that, they will be wrapped in electrical tape. Okay, we are up to 162 live viewers. I don't know who you all are. I don't know where you're watching from. And if you're watching on Twitter, that's probably why you are not able to comment. But if you are joining us live and you're able to comment, go ahead and put in where you are watching from. And then also, what is it that you're grateful for, right? But I'm Zakia of naturalsoapbyzakia.com, as well as livesoapschool.com. And we typically will live stream our journey of building a home-based business. We started out in the basement, then we went to the kitchen counter, then we went to the dining room table, then we built the soap studio in the garage for making our products. And most of it you all have been able to see either in my stories or on a live stream. Cincinnati, hey, I met Joanne at, listen, life kind of just goes in full circle. I met Joanne at an in-person conference for training and development. And luckily, we had the foresight to stay connected via Facebook. She is also a small business owner. She also just took the leap to start her own full-time business. She left corporate America, and that's the power of social media. So glad to have you here. Let's see. I'm grateful for you as well. I am truly grateful for you being here as well. So just like that, now you didn't get a chance to see how we make the sugar scrub. I will do that in another live soap school broadcast. But what I do want to mention is if you are in Philadelphia, we do have a pop-up shop that is scheduled for November the 28th at Studio 8708 at Bistro 7. I don't know the name. It's in the description. Plan on joining us. We will have some kid-friendly activities there. We will also be having all of our products. So if you don't want to pay shipping, you don't want to trust that all of your goodies are going to be shipped via UPS. And especially if you are local, I would love to see you in person. Come on out to the pop-up shop. It's right in Philly at a beautiful space. And we will be having events for kids. Natural skincare events for kids where they'll get a little bit of DIY. They will be able to make their own bath bombs, make their own sugar scrubs, make their own lip balms, as well as their own melt and pour soap. And then you'll get a chance to actually see and feel what we still have not been able to bridge the gap with on live streaming, actually smelling it, actually touching it. And then it'll be a bit of a celebration for reopening Natural Soap by Zakia, which is what I'm really excited about. So just like that, we have gotten all of the sugar scrub boxed up or in this container. I'm going to move this off to the side. And let's go ahead and check our temperatures one more time. Music got me feeling so free. Let's see. Do I have it? What'd I do with our thermometer, guys? We're at about 115. Not exactly what I want, but we did come down a bit. 108. All right, we're going to try it. We're going to try it. So hopefully you guys can see into both of my pots. Now, I do have much larger containers for making soap. However, they're very difficult to manage by myself. I mean, I'm very strong. I'm very, very strong. However, with mixing the sodium hydroxide and all of that, I need it to be in a manageable container so that I can pour it and maneuver it the way I need to. Let me grab the top for the stick blender. We're going to be going with our ruby red today. That's this stick blender here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Yep. You can see it. And I'm going to grab goggles, a new set of gloves, and then we're going to get this thing done. It does not take very long. The longest part in making soap is number one, formulating your recipe and then measuring everything out. The other hardest and longest part happens to be the washing of the dishes. Still haven't figured out whose job that is, but some people seem to think it's mine. So I do that. So the washing of the dishes is what takes. The making of the soap is the It's the magical part because you get a chance to see it go from one state to another state, and then watching the pour is absolutely incredible. So you guys are going to get a chance to see how do we go about making this crushed oats and honey. So we've already measured out 2 equal portions. I'm here on Facebook now. Thank you for coming over to the Facebook world. The We've already measured out all of the oils and butters. We've melted them down. We've already created both of our lye solutions. They are equal proportions. So the molds that I have, which are these over here, okay, these are the 30-pound molds. So generally you'll see me doing a 5-pound loaf, which would just give me about that much. So a 30-pound loaf is going to give me 4 loaves, and each loaf will then get cut into bars. So I've already lined these. Some people say, ooh, what is it that you use to line your molds? Trash bags. Very clean, brand new trash bags. They're cheaper than buying silicone, and they take a whole lot less time than parchment paper. You sit them in. You make sure that all of the corners are pushed in. At a previous time, I used to tape them down, but then I realized I didn't need to do that. And Carla says, I am also grateful for my family and you as well. I'm grateful for you being here. And Thanksgiving is coming up. Friendsgiving is giving up. Friendsgiving is also coming up. So it's a great time to reflect on what it is that we're grateful for. So that's what we have there. Let me switch. Darn it, I just broke it. I was supposed to do. There we go. I'm grateful for my bestie. Oh, thank you, Bird. I'm grateful for you too. Birdie was like, I know you're a procrastination queen. However, we're not waiting until the last minute. We got stuff to do. Let's get it going. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the first one here. And you'll quickly see it starts to do its thing just by pouring in the lye solution. I'm going to grab our stick blender and give it just a little bit of a stir. That'll help for any of the air bubbles. Some people, they will see that, or if you watch some videos, people will pour the lye down the shaft slowly so that they don't get any air pockets or air bubbles. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I pour it directly into the oil, and then I kind of give it a stir before I turn the stick blender on. And then you'll see it goes from that one really nice consistency to a very creamy consistency. Now I don't want to blend this too much because I still need time to mix up the other one. All right, I'm going to sit that there. I'm going to do the same thing with the other pot. I'm just trying to get them out of the way after we've used them. Bam, and now we switch over. And it's actually a good thing that that soap is still on the stick blender from the other one, because that helps to kind of supercharge the saponification of this next batch. All right. So now that we have that all done, I'm going to go ahead and give this just a little bit of a stir. Because to this, we're going to go ahead and add our freshly ground oats. Ugh, if I can get it open. This can actually go a little bit more. I want them freshly ground. They're a little coarse. Ugh. Go in. Ugh. Ugh. Well, we're going to go with... Use what you got, Bradley. Use what you got. So I'm just going to take and sprinkle some of those oats right on the top. And this is the same oatmeal that you would hopefully be eating for breakfast. Great source of fiber and all that other stuff. And then we're going to use our stick blender to get that blended in. I'm going to be here all day, guys. And this is what causes the exfoliation in the crushed oats and honey. The honey actually draws moisture to the skin. So even though you're exfoliating your skin, you don't want it dry afterwards. And then so you have the entire formulation of the soap, which is meant to be a gentle cleansing bath. I'm going to take this out so I can pour. And I kind of eyeball it to see that I have the amount of oats that I want in there. Earlier I said, we're not going to use all those oats. I don't know how many of you are watching on this camera, but we're pretty much done with those oats. So I guess we were going to use all of them. All right. I'm good with that one. Now for this one, we're going to come back because this has not completely gone to trace. And we don't want a false trace going on here. So now is when I'm going to add the honey because that's going to heat the the mixture up. I'm going to put half of it in here and the other half in here. Now look, it's going to try and move. And now I'm going to put the rest of the honey into this side. The more the merrier, says Carla. Yes, Carla. And then we just add the rest of the honey onto this side. Because remember, we measured out enough honey for the entire batch. So if I tried to pour all of this in there, it would be way too hot for the amount of soap that we have in that pot. Get in there. Hey, big girl, won't you back it up? Won't you back it up? Okay, I don't know if you guys can see the color changing, but it's going to a nice caramel. It's getting that color from the honey that's in it. All right. I'm good with our oat side. I'm very good with our honey side. So now we get to go ahead and pour. You're ready to go to the other soap can. We now have 2 soap cans in the studio. We have the side soap can. Take this off. So you guys can see the pour. All right, so hopefully you're able to see that. I see a little bit of honey still hanging out on the side of the pot. I want it to go into the oats. All right. And again, remember I mentioned it's something that I can manage here. So then we go ahead and pour. Now to that, we're going to scrape it, but to that, we're going to go ahead and add our honey portion. Oh my gosh, I wish the color isn't really coming up on here for you all, but hopefully you'll see the distinction as it goes into the pot or in the slab mold. No, you can't see it. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your soap pot. That's what you do. I love it when you cut it. Cut it up. Cut it up. All right, now we're going to grab the spatula because we don't want to waste any of the soap. So we're going to kind of just scrape the entire pot to get it all out. And honestly, what's left in this pot is about 2 bars. So no need them wasting. What they say, waste not, want not. Get it on out the pot. We're going to come around this way because I see some areas. Go that way. And it's going to get any scent from it, from the oils, the butter, and the honey that are in the soap. We're live. You gonna be on camera? All right, let me grab this one. Gotta warn family when they come in. Just in case you don't want to be. All right, so here is the oatmeal portion of the crushed oats and honey. Come around. Are you serious? All right, let's go ahead and scrape it out. And we want that to get just a little bit thicker so we can give it a bit of a texture on the top of the soup. So now we have 2 pots. Those trays must be deep. They're pretty deep. They hold 30 pounds of the soap batter here. And so I'm just taking my spatula at this point to just try and get it all evenly distributed so each bar will be the same height. because sometimes the corners never get their just due. Then you got those little rinky-dink ones on the ends. All right. So just like that, we have made a crushed oats and honey soap. Oh, I didn't realize we had this on the entire time. Here, I'll hide that. You don't need to see that part. There you go. All right. So now you have a couple of options. You can, well, what I typically do is I let it get a little bit thicker so that I can actually put some kind of a design, not really a design, but just a texture on the top so it's not flat. And to do that, I can use the spatula here. First, get it all evenly distributed. Another thing you can do for decoration is put a little bit of oats on the top. I have stopped doing that with my crushed oats and honey for one particular reason. And that reason is when you go into the shower, it kind of just falls off of the top. And I don't really want that. It's just kind of hanging out in the tub. Some people, you will see that they do, what is it? The cellophane. Do I have any? In as many boxes as I have had delivered, you would think I would have, what is that stuff called? That you push through. Everybody likes to pop them. But I don't have any right here. You can kind of put that on the top of the soap. And then when you go to take the soap off, it looks like a honeycomb. I don't have any right here. I'm kind of looking to see. That's the only thing that I would do to this soap. It needs nothing. Sometimes simple is best. Once it gets a little bit thicker, what I will do is I will go ahead and just use the back of a spoon or the spatula and give it just a little bit of texture. Awesome! All right. So I am going to come back over here. Let's switch our view, shall we? Yes, we shall. All right. So you have gotten a chance, and I'm hoping under 60 minutes, yes, to see how we go about bottling up all of the sugar scrub, how we go about making the crushed oats and honey, and then also learning about our pop-up shop that is coming up in 2 weeks from today. We will have a super special Super Soap Sunday. And even if you're not in the Philadelphia area, what would a Super Soap Sunday be without a live stream? I'll be bringing you on site as well. But for all of you in Philadelphia who have been texting and writing on messages, when can we get the soap? We do have this local event scheduled for you. You can pre-order by going to naturalsoapbyzakia.com. Consider getting a gift card that you can bring with you to the pop-up shop. That way you get a few extra savings. And then also bring the children's. So the pop-up shop is on November 28th. And I'm going to go and get the time and location again. So it is November the 28th from 1 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's at Bistro 870 Event Studio, 1551 North Franklin Street, Philadelphia, PA 19122. And don't forget to bring the kitties because they will be able to make their own natural skincare with me live. And as Birdie has mentioned, that is Small Business Weekend. We're a small business and you all can come out and support them. All right, guys, I am Zakia Ringgold of naturalsoapbyzakia.com as well as livesoapschool.com, where it is so much more than soap. Thank you for joining me on this Super Soap Sunday. I'll see you all tomorrow at 7 p.m. for another DIY. I hope to see you at the pop-up. Go get your soap, go get your lotion, go get your herbal oil at naturalsoapbyzakia.com. See you later. See you later, alligator. All right, everybody. Studio 870 is the name of it. Thanks, Carla. I'll see you soon. Bye. Let me go find it. Does Birdie have put the location? It's in the comment right there. Pop-up shop. Oh, here comes Paige. Pop-up shop. Right there. That's where it's going to be. All right. See you guys.